Hello and welcome to Secrets of Organ Playing podcast. We are your hosts, Vidas Pinkevičius
and Aušra Mutuzėtė Pinkevičienė.
We've been mastering secrets of organ playing for more than 20 years and sharing them on this blog since 2011.
On this show, which we create from our home in Vilnius, Lithuania, we strive to help you grow in every area of organ playing, including practice, technique, repertoire, sight reading, hymn playing, improvisation, composition, music theory, harmony, and many others.
Our hope is to help you become a complete musician, or what we call as Total Organist, a program which we have created to help you reach your dreams faster than you would do on your own.
If you are new here, we invite you to subscribe to receive free updates of this blog at organduo.lt. By subscribing, you will also receive free video how to master any organ composition and 10-day organ playing mini course.
And now let's go to the podcast for today. Hi guys, this is Vidas.
And Aušra.
Let's start episode 389 of Secrets of Organ Playing podcast. Today I would like to read a comment from Jeremy and Alan in a conversation. And then Diane later on joined, and Laurie and Danielle. All of those students are from our Total Organist group. And let's start with Jeremy. Jeremy writes, concentrating during preludes and postludes. My congregation and minister tend to see this time as social opportunities rather than as part of the service. This morning, the minister decided to discuss his week with the lector, who is seated 2 feet behind me. I opened the swell box at opportune and musical moments until he decided to move on. Pity of me. How do you all focus when that is going on around you? Alan replied, I have a different problem with concentration. I don't have much trouble when there is activity around, and I don't feel as though people are paying that much attention, such as during postludes. But during introits, anthems, even hymn introductions, I often lose concentration, get panicky, make mistakes. It's my lifelong struggle with performance anxiety, without question, my biggest challenge. I wrote my comment here. The best medicine is to immerse yourself in such situations more often so that this anxiety could be controlled. Diane added, Alan, I am exactly the same way. The problem is that I now only get to sub on the organ a couple of times a year, so I don't get too much practice at controlling my performance anxiety there. But even when I started out on the digital keyboard at my current church, I would become anxious with offertories and hymn introductions. After 3 years, I am much better. It really is true. Practice and opportunity is the answer to most performance problems. Laurie added, I have a pretty good congregation, and the pastor would never talk during a prelude. But sometimes, if there are a lot of noisy people, I like to lift my hands and feet off the organ at a phrase break and pause a brief moment. The silence catches their attention, and for a moment they quiet down until I start to play again, and then they start to talk again. It's very difficult, and I don't envy your position. And Danielle writes, this situation has an element of a philosophical problem. Are we playing a concert or playing a worship service? This is not an either or easy question. and will have a different answer depending on the denominations or liturgical traditions we are employed by. I do agree the ending of a service would ideally be more reflective for each worshipper, and having a postlude supports this goal. Maybe then getting into a situation where you might be labeled passive aggressive for making pointed crescendos, you could have a direct conversation with the minister. And if this does not work, perhaps channel your energy into preparing these pieces for a recital and just work on improvisation for your postludes. If they are not listening, that gives you more freedom to explore and push yourself so it's interesting for you. Good luck to everyone in this situation. And Jeremy later added himself, I have come to accept that the majority of the congregation doesn't listen to the preludes and postludes I prepare. I have taken on the philosophy that this my contribution to an otherwise sophomoric service, in my opinion. The church I play for is moving towards a simple theology based on contemporary cultural references. The sermon 2 weeks ago referenced Warlord, World of Warcraft, for example. It is the distraction of the minister speaking loudly than 2 feet away from me that is the problem. It is distracting me from trying to pay attention to what I have prepared. I'm not the minister of music at the church, and I have mentioned it to him. No changes, however, and thus the passive-aggressive organ playing I did last week. That's a long story, but Alan added, I like to remind myself that nobody came to listen to me playing the organ. They came for the fellowship and to worship. This helps me with my performance anxiety and also reduces tensions around some of the situational things I need to deal with. For example, I am so single-threaded that it is difficult to avoid making mistakes when people talk to me, which often happens at the end of service because the console is right there at the front of the pews. Concentration can be a challenge, but I envy Jeremy his lack of or control over performance anxiety. Maybe I'll try hypnosis. So that's a lot of ideas, Osha. What comes to mind?
It's like a podcast in itself. I think you could let it on the internet just like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we all experienced this, annoying feeling that we prepared beautiful music for prelude and postlude and nobody cares.
Organist is generally just tolerated.
Sure. And I don't think we really need to get upset about it. I think that nowadays it's very important for people to socialize. And for somebody, the only place where we can talk and communicate and socialize with others is the church. So that's what people do.
Mm-hmm.
We come to church to talk, to interact with each other, and not so much probably to listen to organ music or to what minister has to say during the sermon.
Lucky for me, when I play the postlude at St. John's Church, and it happens very rarely, of course, because I'm not a regular church organist, I'm just sometimes invited to substitute an ensemble when they cannot perform. So then I take advantage of the situation and play the organ all the time, except for singing Psalm, Hallelujah, Sanctus, and Agnus Dei. Those parts that are really required to sing. I would play, prelude, postlude, offertory, and communion purely with my improvisations. And I'm very pleased that after the end of the postlude, people applaud almost all the time.
That's wonderful. It means that, some of them really cares about what we are playing. That's a nice thing.
Maybe Jeremy and others who joined in this conversation could try a trick. If they have a choir who is still listening to you, maybe. If they are listening to you, you could ask them to applaud to you afterwards. Like a reminder for others also to listen and to appreciate what you're playing. A few times, not all the time, but 1, 2, 3 times maybe, and then see what happens if they stop.
Well, but not always, choir members might appreciate, organists and organ music. I remember quite a few times when we, for example, were playing recitals or making organ demonstrations in Lithuania, and there were like local choir members of the church, and we would stay after mass upstairs, in the balcony near the organ, and we would have to perform, and we would talk and interact between themselves like we even didn't existed and we didn't perform at that moment, and it was just so horrible.
Then maybe Jeremy could talk to the music director.
That's a possibility too. That might help, might not. You never know. But I think it's worth trying to.
And if that doesn't help, I understand that Jeremy needs like a creative output, in the church. He prepares for entire week and nobody cares and listens, right? That's frustrating. Then I suggest, somebody else suggested, right, like playing a recital, separate event once in a while. That's a good combination. Or Jeremy and others who would like to have opportunity to regularly, prepare in public and appear in public could record the video and submit it to our Secrets of Organ Playing contest. I remember Laurie telling that she is already improving in her organ playing just because of that constant deadline every Monday. And this is, I think, wonderful opportunity for people to express themselves. If the church doesn't appreciate, we will appreciate it.
Sure.
Our community will appreciate their YouTube performances.
And I think it will help for you, also to improve your performance anxiety. I would say not improve, but reduce your performance anxiety.
Yeah.
Then you will be doing that regularly.
Yes,
recording yourself, and submitting your recordings.
When you know that somebody is recording you, or even just your smartphone is recording you, you know that you cannot stop. It's a one-time performance, and no matter what you finish, you could play like several takes and choose the best one, of course. But each take, still you do your best in each take. And in general, it's a very good practice for controlling your nerves.
That's right.
Thank you, guys. We hope this was useful to you. Please send us wonderful questions that you come up with, and your struggles and dreams are very important to us. And remember, when you practice,
miracles happen.
This blog is supported by Total Organist, the most comprehensive organ training program online, where you will find courses for every area of organ playing, including technique, practice, sight reading, repertoire playing, hymn playing, improvisation, composition, music theory and harmony, with hundreds of scores and thousands of exercises. Here is what some of the students are saying.
Hugh writes, "The sight reading course has helped me tremendously. Thank you very much for your essays, courses, and all your help."
Robert writes, "I found the fingerings, registration ideas, and general comments to be excellent."
John writes, "I have found your download very helpful. It was really excellent. I have watched some of your teaching videos, and when I read your instructions, I tried to imagine you are there teaching me. You may feel disappointed that I am 2-3 days behind, but I am a slow learner, and I have committed to taking the time to get it right, as you say. But the other night my wife commented that she had never heard me play such a detailed melody in the left hand so well. My left hand is generally poor.
Robert writes, "It has been a great pleasure in my life of having discovered your courses and material as well as the YouTube work of recordings. You have a calm and pleasant way of teaching."
Ron writes, "Hi Vidas and Osha, thank you guys. What a wonderful response to my email note to you. You've got me right, and I feel you understand my level of playing. Yes, at home, and lucky that I have an organ for that reason. I am paying attention to this, and I am going to try this haha no longer secret model. Yes, and I love Cesar Frank too. What is very nice about your blog podcast is that Osha and Vidas are like a Socratic dialogue, and by bouncing things off of each other, so much more information comes out and is expressed. Your comments contain a wealth of information and understanding. I really appreciate this. It is very inspiring and will keep us moving forward."
Would you like to receive the same or even better results that our students are getting? If so, join them at organduo.lt/total-organist. And of course, you will get the first month free too. You can cancel anytime.
Also, if you haven't yet subscribed to receive free updates of this blog, make sure you do that at organduo.lt. By subscribing, you will also receive free video, how to master any organ composition, and 10-day organ playing mini course.
This was Vidas.
And Osha from Secrets of Organ Playing.
And remember, when you practice,
Miracles happen.